I'm Don Kinder. I'm a longtime member of the Department of Political Science here and the Center for Political Studies, 30 years on. Many years ago, stumbling my way through graduate school, I was assigned an essay. The essay was The Nature of Belief Systems in Mass Publics. It was written by someone named Converse. Reading the essay was a memorable and actually life-changing experience for me. In the vernacular of the day, it blew my mind. At the time, I had no idea who Converse was. I had never met him. I had never even seen him. But I pictured him vividly, a huge man with a massive head. Later, I learned this was not so. However, my original image was in some ways exactly right, for Converse was a towering figure, responsible for an extraordinary number of foundational works in the behavioral study of politics. Converse wrote on social class in his remarkable dissertation, on ideology and belief systems, of course, on voters and elections, in the American voter, in elections in the political order, and in a succession of incandescent reports on the elections of 1960, 1964, and 1968. He wrote on partisanship. He wrote on political representation, most notably in the aforementioned Political Representation in France, the long but altogether splendid book he wrote with Roy Pierce. He wrote on the development and stabilization of party systems. He wrote on the human meaning of social change, and much more. Brilliant analyst and resplendent stylist, Converse delivered pleasure on nearly every page. And he still does. What is most extraordinary about his work, taken either piece by piece or in the whole, is how well it has stood up, both to intense academic scrutiny and to dramatic transformations in society and politics. Converse remains absolutely central to our field. There is really no one else like him. Next to Belief Systems, my favorite Converse piece appeared in abridged form in December of 2006 in the New York Times, in the New York Times sports section. In the piece, actually a letter, Converse argued that the Michigan football team should be chosen to play in that year's national championship game against Ohio, despite losing to the Buckeyes in Columbus 42-39 earlier in the fall. The letter has many charms. Here's one. Converse, and I'm sure this is true, claimed to be in possession of a massive archive of college football outcomes, from which he calculated the home field advantage to be precisely 3 points, from which he concluded that the Michigan-Ohio contest should, in all fairness, be regarded as a perfect tie. The letter is pure Converse, carefully argued, beautifully written, backed by data, and to this reader at least, utterly convincing. Years ago in graduate school, having been assigned to read The Nature of Belief Systems in Mass Publics and having found it so intoxicating, I decided I would write my seminar paper on it, to review the work that had been done since, to see where things stood now. This was a terrible mistake. I didn't finish my term paper. I haven't finished it yet. But I'm trying. I'm completing a book. That's what I keep saying, and this time it might even be true, on the subject of ideology. It is an attempt to reconcile what Converse wrote in 1964 with what a host of others have written since. Not to give away the punchline, but it turns out Converse was right all along. I had so hoped to finish the book by now. I had so hoped to present a copy personally to Phil. Phil was known to miss a deadline or two in his time. I hope that he would have forgiven me my delinquency. Phil is gone. His work endures, and that is some considerable consolation. But for those of us fortunate enough to call him friend and colleague, and who knew him not only as an extraordinary scholar, but as a humane and generous spirit, for us, he will be sorely missed.